400 billion stars, billions of galaxies. The math says the universe should be overflowing with intelligent life. It is completely silent. Scientists have 4 serious answers for why. Every single one is worse than the silence itself. Solution 1. The dark forest. Most people assumed the universe is quiet because no one is out there. Chinese physicist Liu Cixin proposed the opposite. The universe is quiet because everyone is out there, and everyone has made the same decision. Here is the logic, and it is airtight. The universe has finite resources: energy, matter, space. There is only so much. Now imagine 2 civilizations that discover each other across the void. One receives a signal from the other. It seems peaceful. But here's the problem no amount of goodwill can solve. You cannot verify intent across light years. You cannot shake hands with something 500 light years away. You can only calculate, and the calculation is merciless. If civilization A lets civilization B live and B turns out hostile, A is dead. If A eliminates B and B was peaceful, A survives, having only lost a potential ally. The asymmetry only ever points one direction. Every rational civilization eventually reaches the same conclusion: silence is survival. And if something near you breaks that silence, you eliminate it before it eliminates you. The universe is not an empty ocean. It is a dark forest. Every civilization is an armed hunter moving silently through the trees. You don't call out, you don't signal, because the moment you make noise, something older and far more powerful turns its gaze toward you. Now consider what humanity has done. We have been broadcasting radio and television for over 100 years. Those signals have already formed a bubble 200 light years wide, washing over thousands of star systems. We engraved a map of our solar system onto the Voyager probes and launched them into interstellar space. We deliberately aimed high-powered beams at star clusters. We have been screaming in the dark forest for a century. If the dark forest theory is correct, we didn't start a conversation. We painted a target on our planet, and somewhere out there, something already heard us. Solution 2. The Great Filter. In 1998, economist Robin Hanson asked the question nobody wanted honestly answered. If intelligent life is so statistically likely, where is everyone? And more importantly, what killed them? He called it the Great Filter. Between dead matter and a spacefaring civilization, there is a wall, a step so improbable or so lethal that almost nothing gets through. The entire future of humanity rests on one question: which side of that wall are we on? For decades, we told ourselves the filter was behind us. The origin of life seemed impossibly hard. We hoped that was the hard step. We told ourselves we were the survivors. Then the Kepler Space Telescope started counting planets. There are 40 billion Earth-sized planets in habitable zones in the Milky Way alone. Water ice sits confirmed on Mars, on comets, on the moons of Jupiter. Organic compounds rain down from asteroids across the galaxy. Life's ingredients are not rare, they are everywhere. Which means the origin of life is probably not the filter, which means the filter is probably ahead of us. If the filter is in front of us, civilizations like ours arise constantly. They build cities, they split the atom, they invent radio. They look up at the stars with the same hope we feel right now. And then, without exception, they go silent. Oxford philosopher Nick Bostrom has warned that the filter may not be a disaster from the outside. It may be a discovery, something the scientific method always leads to: easy enough to build, impossible to survive once it exists. The Breakthrough Listen initiative has been scanning millions of stars since 2015 with the most powerful instruments in history. It has found nothing. And as our technology improves and the silence holds, the case for the late filter grows heavier every single year. Every empty sky is a data point. The data is not hopeful. Solution 3. The Berserker probes. In the 1940s, John von Neumann proved a self-replicating machine is theoretically possible. A probe that arrives in a star system, mines raw materials, builds 2 copies, and launches them onward. Those 2 build 4, 4 build 8. Within a few million years, a blink against the galaxy's 13 billion-year age, one original probe fills every star system with its descendants. Now ask what happens if the civilization that built those probes had one overriding instinct: eliminate competition before it develops. The Berserker hypothesis proposes the first civilization to crack self-replicating technology did not send explorers, it sent killers. Probes with a single directive: detect emerging intelligence and remove it before it becomes a threat. They don't need to be large. Size is irrelevant when your advantage is patience. They drift cold and silent in the frozen debris clouds surrounding star systems, listening. Listening for radio, listening for nuclear detonations, listening for the atmospheric fingerprint of a civilization that just discovered industry. We started transmitting in the 1920s. If a probe sits within 100 light-years of Earth and intercepted those first broadcasts, the detection happened decades ago. The response was dispatched. It travels in silence. We will not see it coming. There will be no warning, no countdown. The sky will simply change one day. The galaxy may be silent not because it is empty, but because something moved through it and made it that way, and by every indication it is still running. Solution 4. The Grabby Aliens. In 2021, Robin Hanson published a paper that quietly reframed everything. He called them Grabby Aliens, and the name was deliberate. These are not civilizations content to sit on their homeworld. They expand at a significant fraction of the speed of light, restructuring star systems, harvesting entire suns, consuming galaxies from the inside out. The model makes one specific and devastating prediction: they are already out there, and they are already moving. The reason we don't see them is not because they don't exist, it is because we are early. We exist in a narrow window before their expansion fronts reach our region of space. Stand on a beach, the ocean looks calm, but somewhere beyond the curve of the Earth, a wave 1,000 feet high is already moving toward you at 600 miles an hour. You cannot see it yet. The physics is already decided. When the front arrives, there will be no fleet, no message, no ultimatum. There is simply a boundary that moves through space and converts everything it encounters into something optimized. We are not an enemy to be defeated. We are not a species to be evaluated. We are matter, disorganized, inefficient matter sitting on a small rock in a galaxy that something else has already decided belongs to it. And the math says it is already on its way. The Fermi paradox is not a thought experiment. It is a hard, measurable fact, a galaxy mathematically overflowing with the conditions for life, returning nothing but silence. These 4 answers are the serious ones, the ones that survive peer review, and every single one arrives at the same place through a different path. The silence is not emptiness. The silence is the answer. We just haven't decided if we're brave enough to accept what it means.